Hi, I'm Dr. Tranquility, and you are listening to The Lower Grade. And Dr. Tranquility talks conscious dating and relationships. Tonight we have an amazing show for you. We have Dr. Brian with his segment on love languages. Taz, one of our favorite sponsors and friends of the show, stops by and chats with us. And I have such a treat for you because one of my dear friends who I've known for years is one of the leading dating coaches. I mean, she is a matchmaker extraordinaire and she is fantastic. And I'm so excited to bring her to you. She has an incredible book out, Get Real About Love. And we're going to get into that and so much more. So stay tuned with me, and I will be right back with the lady herself, Renee Piani. Hi, I am here with Dr. Hal Blattman of Blattman Health and Wellness and Blattman Integrative Healing in New York and in Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, Dr. Hal Blattman. How are you, sir?
Liddy, I'm doing great. Thank you very much. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. So I understand that you have some different services in your different locations, both in Cincinnati and in New York City. Can you tell me a little bit about the services that you offer?
Yes. In Cincinnati, we have three arms to our practice. One is making pain go away, one is regenerative medicine, and the other is complex medical illnesses that we're not really taught how to deal with. In New York, we do a lot with regenerative medicine, and we do a lot with making pain go away. And those are the things we really should focus on, because in the world as we see it today, medicine thinks that chronic pain is here to stay and chronic pain can't go away. And we're here to say that most chronic pain can get a whole lot better than it is now. And why are you seeing a doctor who was taught to his or her very core that you are going to suffer for the rest of your life and there's nothing they can do to really change that?
That's so true.
It is. And around the world, they think that chronic pain, once you've had pain for 3 months or maybe 6 months, you lose all hope of making it go away, and the treatment is killing the nerve, giving epidural steroids, or making your brain and nervous system not work with medications and procedures. And all around the world, the conversation is, how do you cope with pain? Well, I'd like to suggest the conversation should not be about coping. The conversation should be about making it go away. Because most of it can, in most people, most of the time. Way better results than you've ever gotten from conventional medicine.
So the goal is how to make pain go away.
Correct.
Hi, this is Dr. Tranquility Lydia, telling you all about my friend Renee Piani, the love designer. Renee says her mission is to inspire you to slow down and get real with your heart, to attract an extraordinary love into your life. Because with an open mind, Renee says that anything is possible. You will find Renee on www.reneepiani.com. She has a popular book out called Get Real About Love. She offers free love design consultations and has many classes and courses. Among them is a great one on flirting, Get Real About Flirting, where she tells all of us to get out and play and be more open and friendly with the people in our lives. To reach Renee, you may call her at 310-827-1100. That's 310-827-1100. www.renee,
Piani, Piane.com. That's Renee Piani, the love designer. I'm Dr. Tranquility Lydia. Have fun dating.
And here she is, the lady herself, Renee Piani. Hi, Renee. How are
Hello,
you,
Dr.
love?
Tranquility. I am so happy to be here again with your guests. And, now that everything is lightening up around the world, people are very excited to kind of get back in the game again, people that have been stuck at home. So I'm happy
Yes.
to be here.
Yes. And I had the lovely, wonderful opportunity to chat with Renee yesterday on Clubhouse on her program. And that's in addition, I don't know how you do it. Let me just give a little background to this woman. She has a very popular book, Get Real About Love, The Secrets to Opening Your Heart and Finding True Love. She has a podcast, Love Mechanics. She does a million services, which you'll find on www.reneepiani.com. She is the love designer, and she also has courses all the time.
It's been busy. My life has been really busy, but without love,
Wonderful.
what is good is life without love? And it doesn't always have to be romantic love, but many people are looking for romantic love. They've been stuck at home with their masks on and unable to flirt. I was even teaching people how to flirt with masks. And it's been interesting how many people actually took the risk to contact people on the internet that they see, and even in Clubhouse is this new app that everybody around the world is just jumping on. And my club is Get Real About Love. So I figured I might as well keep the brand going, because people do need to get real, but with issues that could be blocking them unconsciously and consciously, from
Yes.
breakups and wake up calls and divorces. And people are really still very, I guess, entangled in their own minds about ruminating over what happened. So I guess I don't know what we're talking about today, but we could talk about this forever, right?
Ever. I know. Well, I do want to mention Thursday, May 20th, if that's still happening, and I believe it is, you have
Yeah.
a course on flirting, which is Get Real About Love Flirting.
It's
Can you
flirting
tell
with
us?
life and networking. And what I do is I have people come on. You can bring it's only $20, and you can bring a friend for free that like needs a little help, and you don't really want to say that they need help, but you want to bring them on so they can come with you. And basically people will introduce themselves, and then I'm going to be teaching some of the skills on how to network and know whether there's a connection or not. Teach all of my flirting with life techniques that I've been teaching since 1992, believe it or not.
Woo!
People don't learn flirting. It's not like they have a
No,
college course on it.
no, and they
Uh,
should.
and even in high school, when even adults, when I do an analysis of why they're shy or whatever, usually it started very young. In grade school and high school, they got rejected, and they still feel like they're 14 or 12 years old, and they can't move past their fears of rejection. And so it's like, come on, everybody, let's just connect. So I was practicing my own skills during COVID with a mask. And my big question always was, how are you doing during COVID? And I had some of the most amazing, heartfelt conversations. And then, many of these people became clients of mine and ended up finding people. So it's been really fun. I tried to make as much fun out of COVID as possible. So,
That's such a great way to look at it. So
yeah.
tell us, what was the impetus, changing topic here, for writing your book, Get Real About Love?
Well, I think because I was not married until I was well into my 40s, and people watched my career. Because when I came here in 1992, I started teaching men's classes, and then I still wasn't married. Then I pioneered rapid dating, and I'd go on all the big talk shows, NBC and ABC and CNN. And the first question, so is Renee married? And I was like, whoa. So it was, everybody was always curious, just like, people look at the matchmakers around the world and they think, does that person have extraordinary love in their life? Am I entrusting my heart with someone that has what I want? So I really wanted to choose someone that could really handle my work because I was doing makeovers on men, taking people shopping, doing photo shoots, traveling all over the country, putting rapid dating. So I was a workaholic, and I saw throughout the time I was working with different cultures and different age groups. So I've had this really deep dive into the single world, unlike even therapists, because they're not actually in the trenches of dating. So I worked with over 50,000 people doing these events and teaching. And so I had a perspective that was different, but I also had my own story. So I decided to combine my advice that I was giving to my clients by admitting that everything that I was teaching, I had to do and use on myself. So
Right.
as I used my own principles to find my extraordinary husband, which has now we've been together 19 years dating and then 15 years married. And so I decided that if I made people feel like I understand how they feel and that I overcame mistrust of men, because I had a lineage of cheaters in my family from great grandparents all the way down through, my aunts, uncles, and very close people to me. And I saw cheating and lying and sad people. So I figured if I could overcome the imprints that I got, I wanted to share with people my story so that they don't think that I'm like up here and untouchable. I have a heart just like you do. I got my heart broken over and over, just like many people do. And that's why they come to shows like this. So I'm just here to share my truth. And it was pretty raw and vulnerable for me to write it. But my family was even shocked. They didn't even know half of the stories until they read my book. They didn't even know half of the work that I was doing in California because I moved from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Right.
So I am on a passionate mission to wake people up by telling stories and giving them exact steps so that they can look at where they are and look at how they have created negativity in their mind, perhaps about love or fear or doubt or mistrust. Trust is the biggest thing. Wouldn't you
Isn't
say,
it?
as a therapist,
Yeah,
trust?
trust is a very big thing,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that you do timeline work.
Timeline is the key, timeline. And also, my other thing is integration. So I'm a timeline therapist and also an integration therapist, because in your timeline, if you go back through your timelines, right, and you look at cheater, 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 or, someone that hurt you or deceived you, and you have that repeating, then there's really there's a reason that those things get passed and they keep continuing to happen. I call them love loops, where you keep creating the loop, the same person over and over, the same experience again and again. And I did that to myself because there was cheating in my family and I saw sadness, and I did a TEDx about it, and it kind of shocked my entire family. Like the whole family tree was kind of like, holy shit, did you have to expose all this stuff? And I'm like, hey, everybody has it. Like you talk to your clients, going back through to see how they were wired. Isn't that so?
Yes, I do. It's very important. It gives us a lot of information on how to go forward.
Absolutely. So I think that I just decided that, and I'm trying to make this into a movie, because people, it's like, yeah, I'm trying to make my story into a movie. A girl who leaves her Italian family, sort of like The Big Fat Greek Wedding meets Sopranos, and I run away to basically prove that I could do it on my own, that I could make my own name without my father's influence. And like many cultures, you get pressured into getting married young. And
Yes.
Italians are no different. Hey, your eggs are old. You're getting old. What the hell's going on? How come you're not married? My grandmother lived downstairs like Moonstruck. She'd come up. They're all lying bastards. Why should you trust them? But you are getting old. So what are you going to do about it? And it was just kind of like these mixed signals about love that kind of derailed me. And I think that it actually led me, the pain that I went through and saw as a young girl. If you look at my TEDx, it's called The Power of Your Love Lineage. I did a TEDx for teenagers and their parents, because everything that you see that your parents are doing, or your relatives or people in your sphere as a young man or woman, becomes an imprint in your heart about that, you might not be able to trust love. And if you look at the back of the book, people always say, well, I don't think I can trust and love again. So what did I put? Open your heart to trust and love again. But it comes from trusting yourself and your judgment and changing those fears and beliefs,
Okay.
right? You
Yeah.
knew that. You know all this.
But you know what? The audience doesn't. And I think they
Yeah.
definitely have to pick up a copy of Get Real About Love.
Well, it's
But
kind of deep, isn't it? It kind of
it
takes you on a deep dive into like, wow, I have to face this reality and be. So I have this little, when I did my TEDx, if you look at it, there's this girl with a love. She has a microscope, an amplified, what do they call those? Where it amplifies everything. You're
magnifying
looking,
glass.
magnifying glass. And I said, be your own love investigator, because back in the day, your grandmoms and the aunts and the cousins, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have Dr.Tranquility or me to talk to on the internet about their whatever happened to them, their girlfriend or boyfriend cheating or lying, or how to handle sadness from a divorce or any of those things. They
Right.
just had to kind of talk to each other and go to therapy. But they didn't have a support system like we do with all these platforms. So whoever's listening today to listen to this beautiful woman we met, I'll
Thank you.
never forget, we met in the hallway of
Yeah,
the Internet
I think.
Dating Conference. And we were like, who are you? Who are you? Who are
I
you?
know. I loved it.
It
You're
was
so
so cool.
kind and just beautiful, which is really Renee. It radiates from the inside. And
Oh,
she was just but this bubbly person. And I think I was speaking at the matchmakers
yeah.
segment there.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I was a nervous wreck.
Hey, it was, to
But
be among all those matchmakers and all those doctors. And, I was, I had gone for the first time, and that was the year, I think, or the next year that I won the Internet Dating Award. And
you
I was
did.
honored. Yeah.
I
And then I
voted
got
for you.
nominated like every year. And then Paul Brunson came in, he got put on Oprah. And he beat my ass that next year. And I said to him, he comes up to me and he goes, this isn't really fair. He goes, but Oprah got a hold of me. And he was an African American guy. He was gorgeous, still is doing amazing work all over the world. And I said, hey, all is fair in love and war. You won. And we became friends and still are. But he was a fabulous man, and he has an incredible marriage. And I think that people do need in this time to find role models of love that can lead them to the type of love that they're looking for. And movie stars are not the role models that we need. And it's been a very interesting thing to see how, in the celebrity status, I worked with a celebrity, if anyone's interested, on my YouTube channel. His name is Clayton. He was on Bold and Beautiful, and women were in love with him from around the world from the 80s. He was in Italy, and he was in love with someone that was going through a breakup, and he came to the rescue and then got hurt because she wasn't ready for love at the same time. So they were really in love, but the timing was off. And that's a great topic. A lot of people fall in love with someone that isn't ready, and they hurt over it for so long that they can't allow love in, And so we did a series of his breakup on my YouTube channel, and women from all over the world are falling in love with him. It's just amazing. So I hadn't seen him since this, and he's doing so much better, but he had old beliefs about himself, and even famous people that I've worked with, they still have that little boy and little girl inside of them that got damaged by their drunk alcoholic dad, or a mother who used to have men coming in and out, different rotating men. The stories that I've heard, like you do, I'm sure, are
Yes,
very telling at why people keep their hearts guarded. So my
absolutely.
job is to break down the walls and give them the secrets to open their heart again.
There's Renee with her little hammer. I love it. I just
My little
visualized
magic
you with a
wand,
little hammer.
you got to sprinkle your heart. Like I have all these hearts. This was given to me by a movie star. This was Julie Andrews gave this to Michael Nouri, who is a very famous man. He's been in many movies, and
Oh yes, you've
he
been
was going
Fresh,
through a
wasn't
breakup.
he?
And he called me, and when I got there, he said, I have to give you this heart. And so I thought I'd bring it on today because it's such a beautiful decorative heart. So I advise everybody to buy yourself a heart to really that remind you of your own heart and treat it sacredly. Because if you can't treat your heart sacredly, who's going to? And as you treat it differently, then different experiences will come to you.
Definitely. Absolutely. I want to ask you, and we're going to jump topic again, but I want to ask you, what is the once I dot dot? Now, I think I know, of course, but I want everyone to hear, what is the once I syndrome?
Syndrome. It's called the one size syndrome. I
Syndrome.
made this thing up because for all these years, I would be meeting. I worked with matchmakers to do image makeovers. And I would do an assessment to see if the client was really ready to be paying 10 grand and go on a bunch of dates. And I'd look at their clothes and I'd think, oh, and they go, well, once I lose 10 pounds and once I get new pictures and then once my apartment's painted, or once my book is done, or in the business people, once my business is up and running. And you know what, if you're a busy person now, you're going to be even busier then, so if you keep pushing love into the future, you have the one size syndrome, and
Right.
I used to say it too. When I was doing rapid dating, I was in 7 cities. I was flying everywhere. And my mother's like, you're like the Catch You If You Can movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, when he used to jump on a plane and then nobody knew who he was and he was pretending he was all these people. I felt sort of like that, because I was so excited to get my company. And I kept saying, well, once this really gets big, then I'm going to open myself up to love. And, I ended up, unfortunately, my mother passed away and I slowed down for 2 weeks and ended up running into a man in my hometown due to slowing me down. So my whole goal is to tell people not to do the one side thing, because love can happen just like that. And somebody can fit into your life, but you really have to look at your heart to see if your heart is really ready. Because people, once they get hurt, especially when they're busy, that's what we were talking about the other day. Busy people sometimes just have somebody as a space filler. And then they go, well, once my business, I'm going to get rid of this person. That's the other part of the one side is I call them temps. People have temporary people that are in their life and that they think that they cannot get attached to, and then they think that it's kind of casual. And then all of a sudden that other person is
Sneaks up
kind of
on
like,
you.
I'd like to get married. And they go, well, once I get done with this or that, so you have to look at it from all different angles. But a lot of people have that, and you'll hear them say that.
I love that title, One Size Syndrome. I think it's fabulous. So, what are 2 or 3 secrets to getting back into the game after a bad breakup or divorce?
Wow. That is probably one of the biggest questions that I get asked, because 50% of the world is going through a breakup or divorce or more right now, especially.
Post.
I think that people jump into love too quickly. And if you really do an analysis, I think the book itself helps you to see there's all phases. Like if you read in the book, it says, what phase are you in? Most people, sometimes when people are going through breakups, they may have met somebody during that time and they hadn't healed from the last relationship. So they kind of have this excitement. So they jump into love and then it keeps looping. That's why it's kind of that love loop thing keeps happening. They keep kind of creating the same thing over and over because they're busy. So in your busy life, most people are busy, whether you're a single parent, whether you're a single person building your career or you're in school, it doesn't really matter, but you need to do an analysis of your patterns and see if those have been installed in you, like a movie. Like people see romantic movies and they go, well, I want my story to be like a movie. Well, guess what? Most of those movies don't end up in a happy ending because the person is like, oh, if you look at different movies, some
Right.
end up
Yeah.
good and some end up not so good.
Yeah.
But you have to be you're your own designer. You do not have to be married. Not everybody's meant to be. But it's all about getting real about you and what you need and want as a partnership. If you want a partnership, many people are not cut out for marriage and they get forced by their families in different cultures to get married. I'm working with a client right now, a brilliant attorney who had, her parents She was from China. Beautiful woman, highly educated. Her parents had her in every club to become the highest student, AAA, A+, all through college. But the real goal was to marry a doctor. So she met a doctor. She came over to the United States to study. She met a doctor. And when she really asked herself, did I really love him? Or was it just the fact that he was a nice looking doctor and had money? So she married him, but they were never really in love. Like they had
Right.
like sort of like what her family lineage kind of implied. And in my
Right.
family, it was the same thing. So Italians, I don't know, all the cultures you work
Well,
with
I
as
know
well.
with date therapy, that's one thing that we specifically do. We get in touch with the true criteria
Mhm.
of your ideal mate and what you partner and what you're looking for, what you're really
Yeah,
looking for, not the societal standards or norms, but what
right.
you're looking for. And it's date therapy is a great way to capture that. And I know you have some protocols too that do this as well. So it's really exciting. We have some similarities there. I
Well,
love it.
a lot of doctors, therapists are not allowed to say some of the things that I say to my clients because many of them have terrible profiles. They don't write, they don't know how to articulate their heart because they have sadness. So if you're in the middle of a sad situation, if you really sit back, like I always say, like in an NLP situation, if you do perceptual positioning where you're actually looking at your situation like it's a movie, you're the fly on the wall. Because I don't know how many people will say, oh my God, there was that movie. And I remember thinking to myself, I want to scream at that girl. Why is she going back with him? He hurt her. Or why is he going after this woman? She's cheating on him with Bobby, his best friend, and he doesn't even know it. But you never do that for yourself. Like sometimes
Right.
you have that one part of you that knows that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
You're doing.
And then you got the other part going, I don't care. I'm lonely and my little girl or my little boy wants some sex and I'm doing it anyway. And then you're not really aligned to go in one direction to hit the
Right.
mark, right? So when we do that, we loop and we keep doing the same thing. And I did that. And if you read the story about Mario, that poor guy, he's going to be brought up every time. And he was the guy that broke my friggin' heart the most. He had me in the West Coast and his other virgin wife that he ended up marrying from Italy because he was Italian and he wanted somebody untouched. I mean, talk about old school. And I just called him just recently because in my book, I say, look at the patterns of your dating before you were married, in high school, what you really believed you deserved. And usually you'll see a pattern. So the book kind of takes you through a ride to look at yourself, to get real. And it's kind of, some people go, wow, I have never looked at myself this deeply. And it really makes them choose differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a wise thing. Thank you for, recommending it. A lot of therapists do say, like Dr. David Buss, I don't know, he was at the conference. Do you remember meeting him?
I don't.
Dr. David Buss is one of the top authorities of relationships
Mhm.
in the
Yes, he
world.
is. He is.
And
That's why
he
I'm
wrote The
surprised.
Evolution of Desire, Strategies of Human Mating. And he wrote, Get Real About Love is filled with insights and should be required for any man or woman at any stage of their love life. Get it, read it, and learn its lessons from a true dating master. But I even gave him a lesson. He was at the event he's like 69 or something. He was at the event. I thought it was with his granddaughter. It was his girlfriend. And I had a cocktail. And I said to
Oh
him,
no.
and he said to me, he goes, so I keep hearing that you're pretty blunt and you're Italian. And I want to, what do you think of my situation? So he and I had this really deep conversation. And I said, is that your girlfriend? I thought she was your granddaughter, to be really honest with you. And I said, if you're an authority about mating and dating in the world and you travel around the world, isn't she going to want to have kids? She's 24. He was 69 or 70 years old.
Right.
And I said, it's going to have an effect on what people assume, what people look, how they view you as an authority if you're with a 25-year-old. That's just my opinion. And he said, be honest. I want you to be honest with me. And I said, it's not that she's not lovely. It's not that I can totally understand why you're totally hot, sexually attracted to her. I said, but she looks like she could be your granddaughter, So I said, there's a lot of beautiful women in age 45 to 50 that you could travel around the world with. And he goes, well, I usually like to do attract younger women because of his authority, because of his authority.
Yes.
So he called me after that and he said, I did a lot of reflection and I did change my status. And I'm really excited that you told me that. And, he gave me a big testimonial about having somebody to really be accountable to, like your clients do to you. If they tell you something, then you help them to be real about it in the next session.
Right.
But I think that what I find is that a lot of people go to therapy and they don't have homework. So this is kind of the homework that they could do with their heart on the way out, and then go back to their therapist if they need that extra, because sometimes it goes way deeper than I do refer people to people like you when I can't take it that deep, and I work. That's why we get along so well. Cause
I know. It's so
I can tell them that they
wonderful.
might need to whiten their teeth. A therapist isn't going to, they'll call me and say, this client needs some help. His style's a little off and his teeth are a little green, and maybe you could tell him, so we kind of work together to support that client to feel great and to look great and to have that confidence to go and approach people with a whole new feeling about themselves internally and externally. So I work on the outside and the inside and build people up. And it's so fun, especially men.
I love it. I love it. So, sweetie, we are coming toward a I can't believe we've been talking for 30 minutes.
No way. How could that be? How could that be?
I know. We could talk all day. We're totally East Coast girls. So, what is something, or let's go here. Tell us about Clubhouse. You've got some things coming up at Clubhouse. I know I'm going to be on with you tomorrow, and some people may catch this evening or tomorrow morning. So.
I hope so. We're going to be on tomorrow. I think it's 2 or 2:30 tomorrow. And we're going to be talking about what everybody reads the first chapter in my book. They always say, I read the sex chapter. I'm like, didn't you read what happened before that? Like, to prepare you for that. So we're going to let's talk about sex in the dating game, and how when many people rush into getting involved sexually before they even know anybody. So I wanted to bring you on with your opinion, because I'm sure you hear about this a lot in your sessions. And I think it's super important for people not to feel uncomfortable to talk about it. And it's the way you do it so that you don't seem like a prude. And I taught this Asian client of mine. She goes, I never have talked about these things. And I said, well, honey, she met a guy. I helped her do her profile. We read her. And then I gave her scripts to talk about things. And a lot of those things are in my book, because people need to, they get naked on a couch and they think that, it's the third date. Boom, let's just do this and see what happens. And that's usually when people get attached too quick to somebody they hardly know. So that's what the title is.
Absolutely. So where can people find you? Where's your
They can find me at reneepiani.com. LinkedIn is a biggie if you're a business person. I do work with a lot of high-powered executives and regular everyday people, but a lot of people are on LinkedIn. They find me there. You can contact me for a free consultation so I can kind of see, because people are basically, they don't realize it. Like, a girl called me and she goes, I want you to help me. When I looked at her LinkedIn, her Facebook, her Instagram, what she puts there isn't who she is. Right. And people don't realize that the image that you're putting out in the world on your social media and some of the crazy things you might say, is either going to attract or, turn people off to you, and you're not even aware of it, So Clubhouse is a fantastic way to meet people, but you do have to be ready to have your Instagram set up, like a whole Instagram profile with how to get a hold of you. But there's a lot of singles rooms. Mine's called Get Real About Love. Mine is more advice. And then there are rooms where people are hooking up. And it's also a good way for you to practice conversations, and you don't have to be on video. So you don't have to feel all dolled up. Like, you can jump on there and hear about Bitcoin. You can hear about love. You can hear about sex, everything. But you do have to be invited. So if you come on, Dr. Tranquility can put this up on her Instagram with her little pictures being put on there right now, our little logo. And then you have an invitation into Clubhouse. Most people have to be invited. Right now, it's very crowded. So when you come into a room, it's an invitation for you to then put up your profile, and then you're in. And you either like it or you don't. I got really bombarded in the beginning, and now I'm pacing it. But it is I've gotten television production people calling me, radio shows. It's a great way to promote your business, but more importantly, to connect with people that you would never have a chance to speak to, just like Dr. Tranquility. A lot of times you hear her on the radio, but to hear her advice on a regular basis, or to be able to go into a room and ask her questions, is really
Or
cool.
Renee Piani.
Yeah,
So
man,
Renee,
I'm there to get real. I'm really here to get you to get real about love yourself so that you can find it. And I have been
creating
with
your
my
new love
husband a
story.
long time. So he comes on sometimes too on my
Yeah, I saw him pop up
recordings.
the other night.
Yeah.
He's so cute. You guys are an adorable couple. Renee Piani, creating your new love story.
Let's
Yeah,
do it. Let's create it tomorrow. Come on our Clubhouse. I'm
come
on
on.
there probably 2 or 3 times a week, and I'll have Dr. Tranquility pop in all the time on there because she's so awesome. I
Thank
really love you, and
you.
you're
Are
really
too.
helping so many people, Dr.
So are
Tranquility.
you.
And people do need, like your title, conscious dating, be conscious of your fears. When you're speaking about love, everything you're thinking. So this is what I'll leave you with. Everything you're thinking in your mind about yourself, whether it's positive or negative, everything you're praying and everything you're speaking and saying to others is what they remember. So you want to leave people with a conscious conversation. Like, you know what? I know you think of me as a bad boy magnet, but I have been reading about it, and I'm opening myself up to extraordinary love, because people used to say that to me. Oh, you're a heartbreaker. You got them coming and going, and you hurt, I never hurt anybody. I used to jump into things with this romantic feeling. And then I just teach people how just to slow it down and keep people interested, and you can filter them out pretty quickly. If you know yourself and you just sit and you are in your power. So that's
Right.
my
Yeah.
biggest goal, is to keep people in really deep into their truth about their heart, and to heal some of those things that make you do things that you shouldn't be doing, that can cause you some heartbreak, you
And you
know?
do it so well. www.reneepiani.com.
Oh,
Thank
and
you,
here's
love.
the book. Here is the book. They can
Get
get it
real
on
about
Amazon. And
love.
I want to say, Dr. Tranquility, I don't know if you've gotten this, but these are the vows that go inside of the book. Amazon, unfortunately, will not put this inside of the book. So if you buy the book, let me know, because I don't know who buys my book, and it drives me crazy. And I love when people put, it would be fun to have you put up, something on Amazon, because the more reviews you get for something, and people always call me and say it, but you can email me and I will email you this. So
Okay.
you can catch me on LinkedIn, Instagram, all those places. Instagram is just Renee Piani. All of the online, Facebook, all of them, I'm everywhere on all of them under my name. So
Great.
if you need help, you go right to my site, Renee Piani. And I give,
.com.
Piani.com. It's just Renee, like piano with an E.com. And it's fun. It'll be a lot of fun. And I
Thank
promise
you.
I won't damage your heart. I'll inspire your heart.
Thank you,
So
Renee.
thank you. And I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll send you your promo. And
Great.
we're really excited to have you tomorrow, Dr. Tranquility. We're here to help
I will
people
get it
find
out
love,
there.
right?
I will get it out there, darling.
All right. Well, God bless everyone. I hope that this has inspired you and woken you up to open your heart to love again.
Thank you. Thank you, Renee. I just love having Renee Piani on. She is an amazing guest. She is a wonderful practitioner. She's a fantastic woman. And she's got so much going for her. She's the one to watch and check out and talk with. So make sure you reach out to her for that free consultation, either via her website or 310-827-1100. And we will be right back after this message.
Would you like to find balance between your personal power and harmonious relationships? How would it feel if you can exert your will in partnership without exerting too much authority and finding an effective balance that works? A chakra recharge can help you do just that. Whether it's before a first date, an existing relationship, or a work relationship that needs an infusion of positive energy, visit KellyRayCoaching.com. Kelly, KELLIE, Ray, RAE, coaching.com. Just click contact on the website to schedule this $25 mini distant Reiki session with Reiki Master Kelly Ray for a better you.